I'm Larry Harrington. I'm the research director for the global program of the CPWF. I've been with the CP since the beginning of Phase 2, some contact with Phase 1. I've not had a lot of experience with the Volta projects. It's my first visit. But I have visited all of our projects in all of the other basins. So it's about time I got here. I had the pleasure of going to see some of the research sites for most of the projects, to interact with the partners, the stakeholders, the farmers, the policymakers, the groups, the innovation platform participants, the field trials, seeing the small reservoirs, the research being done. It was all very wonderful. Now that I've come back here, we've been able to hear presentations of the whole scale of work, the whole research agenda from all of the projects. And I find that whereas before I had some apprehensions about the integration of the projects, I'm pleased that the pieces are really fitting together much better now. We have given some recommendations. We've had thoughtful reflection about some of the conceptual frameworks, but we have also given very practical advice for some of the projects of how they can further, well, let's say multiply the impacts of the work that they're already doing. For example, the V2 project, which is on rain-fed crop and livestock systems, is doing action research on different fertilization practices, water management practices. And they would like the farmers to be convinced that some of these practices are useful and helpful and profitable. Well, you could build on that value, you could accelerate that by having these same farmers go to other parts of the country where farmers are already successfully using these practices. Then they can compare what the other communities, the successful adopters, are doing with their own circumstances, look at the action research, and move much faster in a desirable direction. V1 has been extremely effective in finding tools for scaling out to have a much bigger impact than you would just normally have from research trials. But in some cases, they haven't really defined specifically enough the innovations that they would like to scale out. They talk about small reservoirs, but what do they mean? Construction of new small reservoirs, rehabilitation of existing small reservoirs, improved water quality where there's eutrophication, improvement of the use of downstream dysfunctional infrastructure for irrigation. And each of these have a different set of partners, set of issues, and different sets of scaling out opportunities. So by getting down to specifics on the ground, V1, V2, but also the other projects can make faster progress. And